Welcome to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast.
My name is Jen Clark.
And I'm Elke Clark. We are a mother-daughter team who started our Zazzle e-commerce businesses over 10 years ago and have sold over $15 million worth and counting of products on Zazzle with our designs on them.
We had so many people asking us how we did this, so we created the Profit by Design Academy, a 12-month coaching program where you will implement the 5 strategies we have used for success on Zazzle.
When we aren't coaching our amazing clients to reach millions in sales on Zazzle, we love cooking food from places all over the world that we've traveled to, jet-setting to our next dream destination, spending quality time with our close friends and family, or having fun creating our next bestsellers in our own Zazzle businesses.
In this podcast, we share actionable steps you can take to make money in your online business using Zazzle. Each episode will take you one step closer to creating that perfect business, which will give you the freedom to live your dream life.
We believe that you can have anything you dream of as long as you work smarter, not harder. We're here to give you the tools you need to make your dream life happen. So let's get started. Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we have a lovely guest. His name is Mark. He's one of our clients in the Profit by Design Academy. And today he's going to be telling us a little bit about his story and journey on Zazzle.
Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Elke and Jen, and welcome everyone, and greetings from Perth, Western Australia. My name's Mark, and I'll be telling you a little bit about myself and my journey with Zazzle.
Perfect. Well, let's dive right into the interview, and let's get started.
Okay, so I'm so glad you're here. Mark, why don't you get started by telling everyone a little bit about yourself and how you got started on Zazzle?
I enjoyed assisting, people, seeing people succeed, and I've seen a lot of that. Even people that are sort of approaching end of life situations where we're kind of helping them to maintain their life the highest possible level and do things that they dreamed of doing. And I had a gentleman that I worked with once he wanted to write a book. And I said, well, yeah, hey, look, I've been doing Zazzle and I'm realizing my dreams. I said, there's no reason why you can't write your book. And he's done that. He's written his book. So I've used the opportunity to just encourage other people to do things and say, look, whatever your niche is, if you're willing to try it, then do, and if you don't succeed, well, so what? At least you know that you've tried. And a lot of people regret not trying. And so, that's my background. As far as Zazzle goes, I discovered Zazzle in 2016, I think it was, back in the day when they had no facilities to put your own name on the items, and you basically had to think, what do I do? And I didn't even really have a drawing tablet or anything. So I was just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. And I did do a design of a chicken of all things, which still sells. And I think in the first year I made all of $30. So it took me a while to get there. And I thought, well, all right, we'll see what we can do with that. And then later on, I didn't really advance from that. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I should try some other things. And I remember following a guy called Entrepreneur's Journey by a guy called Yarrow. And he had your article, your podcast on Zazzle. And that's how I discovered you, was through that. I thought, I must look at that. I'd looked at blogging before because I thought that was maybe a way to make income. And I thought, well, surely there must be a way to make it. There's millions of dollars exchanges hands every day on the internet. Surely there's a small percentage there for me. So, I tried blogging. I had minimal success with that. It just wasn't me. You need to find something that's fit for you, that works. And I just wasn't able to churn out constant amounts of content to do that. I've tried various other things. So when things improved with Zazzle, with their facilities to, add your own name and so on, I went back to it. I originally started off with Cafe Press and we moved across to Zazzle because of pricing and so on. And I was actually losing money because I wasn't selling enough to cover the fees. And then I moved everything to Zazzle and started. And that's when things started to move. I discovered a couple of Facebook groups. And then I thought, well, I'll find out more about Elke and Jen and doing a bit more search. And then I discovered your courses and so on. And that's where it became, I was pretty broke at the time. So I scraped together the coins I had and I said, no, I'm going to get this. And I started doing that. And I think the second year, I think I made $50. And then the year after that, I think it went to about $150. And then the rest is history. We're now at $18,500. So I'm expecting that we might get to silver by the end of the year based upon last year's sales. So not very far off. So it's quite good. And the exciting thing is that my wife hopped on board. Once she saw that I was making about $100 a month, she said, I'll get hold of this and I'll post the items for you. You make the items, design them, and I'll post them. So that's what she does. We've set up another small one for my son-in-law over in Indonesia who doesn't have any work over there. And we've developed a store over there for him that we manage. And that means that we can support him and eventually that'll be self-supporting.
That's wonderful.
So there's no social security over there. You need to have some income.
Yeah.
So
That's
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 it.
really fantastic. That's how Jen and I
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We also
Yeah.
tried to get, my sons also have stores, and it's just fun to see how the potential and allow it just to grow.
It is. And I think the real test was when we did have COVID and we were hit really bad by that, as a lot of people were. My wife's income, she had her own little ironing business, which we started from scratch many years ago. And the income from that plummeted because people weren't working. So they didn't require any business shirts and so on. So her income almost evaporated. So that happened. And then we had also on top of that, we had mandates over here as well. And a lot of people were affected by that, myself included. So we had some real issues there, but the Zazzle kept going.
Wonderful.
And that kept us alive, basically. Fortunately, we didn't have a mortgage. I shudder to think what happened to people with mortgages. But, we were able to put food on the table. We were able to sleep at night. And, we knew the money was coming in. So it's been brilliant, the whole thing that we've done with Zazzle. It's really proven to be just a wonderful thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Your story is so true. And it's so many people were desperate to figure out what to do during COVID because things just changed so rapidly and what you counted on was no longer. Whereas when you had your Zazzle business, like others, they not only could count on it, but it thrived during COVID and it keeps getting better. And so it's really fortunate that you started when you did and that you had the tools and everything to continue to build and grow it, because that's what you said, right? Over the last year, you've actually made even more than you have the year before.
Yeah. And we looked for opportunities like you were showing in your course. I looked at new products and so on. I thought, well, it's COVID. I'm going to need masks, right? And I sold a ton of masks. So, in fact, at one stage, that was all I was selling, was just constantly. And that was great. So no matter what happened, there was at least some products there that people wanted or were buying. And that's what I liked about the course was, for me, it was an issue of not so much making stuff. I had ideas in my head, but what stuff will sell? I had ideas of designs, but what do you sell those designs on that will sell? And we've had a lot of success with various things and using our niche, of course, to determine, okay, if it's cartoony type stuff, which is what I do, then it's going to be aimed at a certain demographic and what do these people use and what do they wear, et cetera, et cetera. And so we've tried that and we've done some experiments as well and stuff that I never thought would sell. My wife said, I'll just try it. And she's more game than I am. And we've sold stuff that you would never think would sell. But so it's been very good.
That's fantastic. It's wonderful news. Yes, because we knew how dedicated you were. Once you found us, you asked a lot of questions and just really interested in making it work, and it's paying off.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And my wife now cracks the whip and she says, draw some more. Whereas previously it went from skepticism to, keep drawing, keep doing it. So we now have a set regime, which I try to stick, and where an item, a design, I try and put out a design every week, and then during the week, then that's uploaded. So that's kind of how we do it. I think that's manageable for us. I am still working at the time, but with my line of work, I'm able now to just keep in mind that, okay, what am I going to be doing in 5 years' time? and I can move from what I'm doing now, maybe reduce my hours, then I can increase my hours in Zazzle and try and find that balance. It was a bit of a shock before, sort of being completely cut and then having to rely on one thing. But now, having that balance, I can sort of ease into it, and eventually it will become the major income source for me.
That's the plan, isn't it? A lot of people are working on
And
that, and it's wonderful. And also, I know that we love the Zazzle platform, but also, let's say, God forbid that something would change, all the things that you learned, your business skills, how to put things up and so on, are now also applicable. So if you actually ever wanted to go back to Cafe Press or try Redbubble or Society 6 or something like that, if there was anything that might happen, then you've got that business skill sets, and you've got the inventory also, because it's not just things that you did on the Zazzle platform. It's you have those images, those cartoons, or the sketches, and that you can once you have more time, you can apply that whole business process again to another platform, which means that you are, personally for me, that helped me feel a lot more confident, even though we were working in a platform where there's a bit of, uncertainty. Whereas even though now, with all the uncertainty with COVID, Zazzle turned out to be the most solid option for a lot of people, including yourself, obviously. Yeah.
It did, yeah. I mean, I do have a Redbubble store, and I do have several others, some of the lesser known ones as well, and they do quite well. Good. So my wife uploads those simultaneously, so we make various sizes.
Fantastic.
And she does that as well. So we've got multiple income streams from the same product.
What I love, what I've heard throughout this when Mark's speaking, is that you and your wife are very much go-getters, and that you are able to, I want to say, just go with the flow and always try your best to figure out things that can be better in the future. And even with what you said in terms of someone that you influenced to help write their book, that you decided that you should help them understand that they're able to do it. And then the fact that you said you tried blogging and then all of these other platforms, and then you are also working you have your own job, and then your wife also had another job on top of everything else that you're doing. It shows that, you are always able to, be inspired to do things more, and that you're always looking to sort of keep going, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, he's definitely an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with my wife as well. She comes from a country where poverty is very common, and you can have someone in a street down the road that's living in a mansion, and literally around the corner there's someone begging on the street. So poverty is very real for her. So we make it a point that part of our Zazzle earnings, of course, we've got 3 sponsored children. So we believe that if you do make money and you're doing that, then you sow into something that's worthwhile, help some other people, and then that'll come back if you keep doing that. Yeah. I mean, it was tough at times when our income was cut, but we said, no, we'll keep that going. And so we've been able to put a number of kids through school. They've reached 18, and then they've been able to, find work and so on, and got educated. So they found a way out of poverty. So that's very important to us as well.
That's fantastic. That's so fantastic.
Have you heard about the Profit by Design Academy yet?
Are you looking for the perfect online business or side hustle that gives you monthly cash flow so you can live your dream life?
Are you a new or current Zazzle creator who is struggling to figure out how to make Zazzle work for you, worried that you're wasting your time and using the throw spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks trick method, and unsure about how you can start and scale your Zazzle business?
Then the Profit by Design Academy is a perfect solution for you. You will feel confident, supported, and clear on how you will create a financial abundance side hustle using the Zazzle marketplace.
Imagine having access to the exact 5 strategies that we've used to build our Zazzle business and scale it, which we have sold over $15 million worth of Zazzle products so far with that method.
And that's not just us. We've helped our coaching clients in the Profit by Design Academy sell over $30 million worth of Zazzle products combined.
We invite you to join this incredible coaching experience where you receive the proven roadmap and hands-on support to accelerate your Zazzle business and make your dream of achieving passive income a reality.
Head on over to the show notes to grab the link, and we will see you on the inside. Or go to elkeclark.com/start-and-scale.
Now let's get back to the show.
Such a wonderful thing to do, and to be able to use the money that you do earn to, do the things you want to do, right? For us, sure, we wanted to take time off to be with our kids, like that was my thing, and Jen wanted to travel, but as that's our story that publicly we know, most people know, but yeah, that's also the thing that we're so excited about, that Zazzle can give us, that as to be able to give back, and in whatever way you want, right? Like for us, I really want to start like a foundation for mental health, whereas but it's good to do so many different things where you're affecting lives, and it's just heartwarming to know that you're doing that already, even though as you get more and more earnings, I bet you so many more people are going to benefit from you, because you're so generous, even with the money that you have earned, and you said you were you needed that to already just to live because your wife's ironing job was at risk and things like that, and your business, sorry. So this is just it just shows how generous and kind you are. And it's important to use the Zazzle earnings for what, obviously, to live and be with, but to survive. But ultimately, it's gratifying to be able to say that, okay, all these other people have also benefited from my Zazzle earnings. And it's really wonderful that you shared that with us.
Yeah, I think it leaves a legacy, and I think that's a good thing. And my wife has her bucket list. Of course, she wants to travel around Indonesia and eat every kind of food that she possibly can. So that's her big thing. So we will do that eventually and travel. And I too would like to go to Cairns and so on. I've been all along the top end, but not the Great Barrier Reef. So I think I'll get eaten by a shark, but I'm not too worried.
Oh my gosh, we were on the Great Barrier Reef because we were so fortunate to visit, because we held a retreat there, like a mastermind. And I took Jen to swim off of Heron Island, which is like, it was like being in heaven.
Mm-hmm. So it's
you
very
will get
nice
there
down
one
there.
day. You will get there one day.
Yeah. And did you try all the nice tropical fruits they grow?
Yeah,
Grow
and
up there?
also the sharks were all around us and they didn't bother us. So you're going to tell your wife it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a bit of getting used to that the sharks were there, but they left us alone.
It was wonderful. At first, I was a little bit nervous, but then at the end, we were doing these snorkeling tours, and I was actually chasing the sharks with my GoPro video camera because I wanted to get closer.
Yeah.
But you and your wife will be able to travel, I'm sure of it, and enjoy those things as well. And it's just, as Elke mentioned, it's very heartwarming to hear that you are giving back as well. We do it silently in the back end, and even part of some of our masterminds, we asked our clients who, if they had let's say
a favorite charity
or someplace that they wanted to donate to. And
Yeah.
It's wonderful to hear those sides of the story.
Their tuition that they paid us, we just put right into their favorite charity in their name.
Yep.
And it's really
That's
nice
great.
to see like people and how that they know a lot of people who are affected within their family. And just like you and your wife, she has that connection to Indonesia. And so it's just wonderful to hear the whys behind certain things like our Zazzle business and how we can help and give back.
Yeah. I think it's part of the fun as well. Definitely. There's a lot of enjoyment out of that. You know, you make something and it sells, and then somebody enjoys it because they bought it, and then somebody else enjoys it because they benefited from it. It sort of, and it keeps on going. So, I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, it's so wonderful that we were able to hear so much about you and your wife and how you've built your business, and not just on the Zazzle marketplace, which is a very wise move, especially for someone like yourself who has these wonderful, assets in terms of your art that you can just translate and put into the other platforms. So you're being very smart about it for sure. One of the things that we like to ask all our guests is, what's a good tip that you, after having been through this experience, what would you give as a tip to people who are listening or watching, whether that's something from your experience or if it's something that, like, for someone who's new to start out with, like anything, what comes to mind?
Look, I would say at least try, even if you don't have a ton of money or anything, at least do the entry level and see if that works for you, and be prepared to try it. Don't just do it for a couple of days and expect it to sort of drop out of the sky. Life doesn't normally work like that. It can take a number of weeks. It can take months, before you see something happening. But don't assume that because you didn't make anything the first week, that's always going to be that way. It's a long-term goal. Yeah, that would be the main thing. Don't think, I bought this course and I did it a week and it didn't work. That's nonsense. You need to apply the principles and you need to be consistent and you need to, be prepared to put the work in. Okay. An hour of work in a whole month is not going to cut it. Mm-hmm. And probably another thing is if you do one thing a day, it's better to do one thing a day than to do nothing, for a whole week, because then, after a week, that's 7 things that you've done rather than procrastinate.
I love that advice. Oh my gosh. So do one thing a day rather than waiting till like the 7th day to try and finish so many things that you don't actually get anything done or never get to 7 small things done. I love it. Excellent advice.
It's like eating an elephant, one small bite at a time.
It's so true. Yes, it's so true. Thank you so much. That's a fabulous tip. And I love don't give up, be patient, keep doing the work, be realistic about what it's going to take in order for you to succeed on the Zazzle marketplace. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't assume what happened now to be the future outcome. I like that too. So many wise words.
I think probably one other thing, Elke, that maybe I could add is that there are a lot of talented artists on Zazzle, and some are extremely good, but don't sort of just compare yourself. If you need to improve your art, by all means do that, but don't think that your art's not good enough, but also be willing to be a bit critical of your art as well. Don't hold on to it so tightly that it's so precious. It's an asset. Okay, that's an asset that's going to make you income. So treat it like that. If it needs to be adjusted or changed, or maybe the proportions need to change a bit. If you're drawing an animal or something and the proportion's not quite right, well, learn how to do that. But treat your art as a commodity as well as a piece of art. See it as this is going to make money for you so that you can put food on the table rather than something you want to stick on the wall and just admire and people that say, oh, wow, that's wonderful. We need to get out of that mindset that it just remains on a wall. It can be on lots of things. It doesn't matter whether it's on a wall or on a T-shirt or on a mug or whatever. But, I think people tend to hang on too tightly, and then others tend to think that maybe their art's not good enough. Well, you're not going to know if it's good enough or not if you don't try, and do get some input from other people as well, and not just your friends that might say the right thing just to make you happy, but people that are genuinely, going to give you honest feedback. I think that's important as well so that you can develop your skills.
Wow. Those are all incredible good advice for artists, because that's usually what happens, right? Artists forget that they shouldn't hold on too tightly to their artwork, and that it's not just for the walls, because not everyone has a lot of walls. And also the walls mean that it's more expensive, and they'd rather support you with, something that's lesser priced, but they still want to see and enjoy the artwork that you have created that will bring joy to people. And so letting that artist ego go when you're trying to sell your work is crucial to being able to. And I like the fact that you're willing to ask people for advice. That's also another thing that's really hard for most artists. So kudos to you, because you really made that work on the Zazzle platform.
And that also Mark equated it to, sometimes as Zazzle designers, we get very upset about, if you are an artist and your artist ego gets in the way. And how he mentioned, you just can't look at it as a piece of artwork that goes on the wall. It's also something that transitions to helping yourself put food on the table, like basically in basic terms, right?
Yeah.
Where this is a job and a business, and some of us, we don't see the ultimate end form of the fact that this is going to help us and serve us. Or in your case, Mark, serving and helping others as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for all of the time that you spent with us. Mm-hmm. And we want to just wrap this up. Do you want to say anything in the last minute?
Just thank you so much for being on the podcast with us, and all of your advice that you've given us has been wonderful and very heartfelt. And definitely a lot of people who are listening are going to resonate with you and your wife's story as well, and just how genuine and kind-hearted.
Yes.
Thank you, Elke and Jen. And thank you for all the advice that you've given us and putting the courses together and all the help that you give us, to encourage us. I enjoyed being on the forums and hearing all the stories when people make their first sales and things like that. It's wonderful. So a lot of people are benefiting, and it's fantastic.
Well, you're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words. And we're extremely happy to have you within our community. And we just can't wait to see what's next for you. And you are on your way to growth and thriving.
Silver, which for anyone listening, silver means that it's a level in the Zazzle, community where people reach a certain income level where they've sold so much in terms of US based product. And so Mark is coming up to the silver level, which is awesome.
Yes, we're extremely excited for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mark. And for anyone who's listening on the podcast or even watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. And we will see you again next week.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast with us, Jen and Elke Clark.
We hope this episode has given you actionable steps to building your online business that gives you the monthly cash flow you want while working less and living more.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Each review helps us reach more entrepreneurs like you working to create a profitable e-commerce online business.
Follow us on Instagram at Ms. Jen Clark and at Elke Clark and DM us with your biggest takeaway from today's episode. See you back here next week.